We are looking at the face and what it's telling us about who we are. Our facial intelligence expert today is Michelle Butt, and we're going to get a better understanding as to how to perfect our relationships with those closest to us. So thank you so much for being here. Very interesting topic, and we were in the middle of another story before we went to break, a success story of a woman who you said, what did you call the princess? What? The princess?
Very much the princess archetype.
The princess archetype, who was having a little bit of problems with her partner, and how he didn't quite get her. So how does that end up?
Well, yeah, and it's not, I don't think that he necessarily didn't get her. What face reading tells you is how to see what people innately can give you.
Okay.
So his face was very much one of the doer, the problem solver, not the compassionate nurturer, I'll give you a hug and make you feel better.
Right.
So the things that she loved about him was that he could take charge and he could do things.
Right.
But when she needed that hug and that soft space to land, if she went looking for it from him, she wasn't going to get it. So it's like, go to your girlfriends, let her make you a cup of tea and tell her about that problem so that you get that nurturing out of the way, and then go to him when he's ready to help you fix it and when you're ready for a fix.
Gotcha.
And then that made the relationship so much better because she kept asking him for things that he just innately couldn't give.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily about changing, it's about understanding why you can't or why the person is the way they are, so that you can decide whether or not you want to accept it or not.
Exactly, or say to them, like I call it kind of the understanding advantage, to say, I know you're going to want to fix this for me, but really I just need a hug right now.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't feel right, but just do it for me.
Did you ever see that ad with the nail in the girl's head? You didn't? It's a funny ad. It's about exactly that. She has a nail in her head, and all she wants is him to listen to her, but he's saying, I can tell you why you have a headache. You have a nail in your head, and look it up. It's a lot better than my descriptor. But yeah, it's exactly that. Okay, so wonderful. So now she understands and everything is working out for her.
Totally different relationship.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit more about our spouses, and I want to know a little bit more about our employers and even our children if we have time.
Yeah.
So I think those are three relationships that are very near and dear to every one of us and that we want to master. So before we do, let's talk about what the face represents. Is there a generic reading of the face? You had mentioned something to me about there being three different parts of our face that are important to understand.
Well, yeah, the thing that's most important to understand is that the face can tell you, any part of your face can tell you one of three things, or two of three things, or all of three things.
Okay.
Which is that it can tell you what the original purpose was, so health. So if there are changes in certain areas.
So what if we pulled up a picture? Would that help the audience understand? Okay, so let's grab one of those pictures, and maybe we'll analyze her face to better understand it.
Sure.
Okay. So we have the photo of woman one. There she is.
Yeah. So the face can tell you three things. So any feature of the face can tell you about something that might be going on health-wise. So I'm not a healthcare practitioner, but just for example, the under eye area is usually associated with the kidneys. So if she doesn't normally have that little bit of puffiness that we're seeing, and all of a sudden that shows up, maybe she might want to say, okay, I'm going to go get that checked, right?
Gotcha.
By someone who is a professional in that area. So it just gives you a clue that you might want to investigate.
So health is number one.
Health, yeah. And then there's personality.
Personality.
Yeah, so things like, for example, eyebrows talk about how we make decisions. So she's got these nice curved eyebrows, so she makes her decisions from a people-centered approach.
Okay.
And all in all, with her nice red curly hair and those bright sparkly eyes, she would be kind of what we would call the captivator archetype. So very bubbly, empathic, really a people kind of person.
Okay, so second, personality.
Yeah, and the third is any time of life. So there is a spot on the face for ages 1 to 100. So for example, if you get a scar and it shows up here, then you can look up what age that is and maybe understand why it's showing up there. Perhaps there's something you need to learn about, or something's going to happen at that age that is significant for you, so it becomes part of your story.
You mean your child falls and she now has a scar right here, and is that what you mean? Oh.
Yeah, so it can be either going back to the time when it happened and a reconciliation that needs to be done. So for example, if you're 5 and you fall and you hit your head here and you have a big scar through your eyebrow, this is somewhere in the area of the 30s. Maybe at 5 you were feeling really insecure, something was going on in your life, and then now you're 32 and you're feeling insecure again. So that scar is kind of linking the two experiences so that you can do some learning and change how you look at things in your life.
Interesting. It seems like a lot of self-work, you
Well,
know,
I
to
think
even
it's self-awareness.
Okay,
Yeah.
self-awareness.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter does have a scar there. It happened at 1, and it was kind of my fault. We're not going to talk about it.
So now I'll have to look up the age and see what's going to happen when she turns the new age.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, so we figured out a little bit about that. Let's talk a little bit more about our spouse. So maybe if we have, let's bring up another photo, and that'll help the audience better understand as well. So we have our gentleman. Let's pretend that that is my dapper husband. What is his face telling me? I can guess that he seems very controlling and stern.
Yeah, and what would make you think that?
I don't know. Maybe the cynical little lines that I have. The eyebrows being pointy. Am I right? Am I
Well,
wrong?
it's really interesting. The pointy eyebrows means that he's a little bit more reactive. So when he's making decisions or doing anything in life, he kind of does things in a quick way.
Okay.
So that would mean that he's reactive in his decision making, but even reactive in terms of anger. So he would anger faster than someone with different size.
He looks it. He
Yeah.
looks it.
And his nose is a nice strong nose. It's a little crooked, so that strong nose says,
I
yeah,
was a
I like
boxer.
to be in control. I do
Okay.
like to be in control, but part of it is because I see the outcome, I know where we're going. If you just follow me, we'll get there and it's going to be good for everybody.
Yeah.
But not everybody wants to be told how to do things, even though the intention is, I know what I'm doing, I can see it. I can see way farther than you.
Okay, well, we're going to analyze him one more time and put him in a different role as our employer when we get back. So obviously there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. We will see him and you back in 2.